Detective Kit Green appeared to make a major breakthrough in the Theo Silverton murder investigation during last night's episode, but strangely, he wasn't around to question the person he now considers his leading suspect. Earlier this week, Kit uncovered an important clue while examining photographs from Carla and Lisa's wedding celebration. While studying the pictures, Kit noticed that Summer Spellman had been wearing the same brooch that police later discovered covered in blood inside Theo and Todd's apartment. After spotting the jewelry in the photos, Kit announced that Summer had become his new prime suspect. Considering the murder inquiry continues to dominate conversation on the street, many expected Kit to immediately begin interrogating Summer. However, in the following episode, the detective was completely absent. It was later explained that Kit had traveled to Wales for a temporary work placement, despite his involvement in both the murder case and an ongoing grooming investigation. Fans who follow actor Jacob Roberts online may already know he recently enjoyed a trip to the United States, which likely explains why the character disappeared from screen temporarily. Instead, Lisa took over the questioning and pressed Summer about how the blood-stained brooch ended up inside the flat. Summer insisted she knew nothing about it and suggested the accessory may have accidentally fallen off after she left Underworld, with Theo possibly finding it afterwards. Back at home, George Shuttleworth confronted Summer and asked whether she had visited Theo's apartment on the night of his death. Summer firmly denied going there, but George later challenged her once more, admitting that he had seen her running from the direction of their flat. A flashback scene then revealed Summer on the night Theo was killed. The latest developments have left viewers wondering whether Kit truly solved the mystery after identifying Summer as the investigation's main suspect. Residents of Weatherfield may be delighted to see Roy's Rolls finally reopening in tonight's Coronation Street episode, but customers could be less thrilled after noticing an unexpected change to the cafe's menu. It appears Roy Cropper quietly increased several prices while the business was shut down. The famous cafe, which has served the street for more than 2 decades, was forced to close last month after Mal Roper deliberately started a fire inside the building. Angry over being rejected by Bernie Winter Allahan, Mal pretended to leave Weatherfield before secretly returning to target her workplace in revenge. What Mal didn't realize was that Roy had been sleeping in the flat above the cafe after cutting short his bat-watching trip because he felt ill. Thankfully, Roy survived the blaze, although the restaurant has remained closed ever since the terrifying incident. During tonight's episode, Fizz Dobbs and Chesney Winterbrown excitedly head to Roy's Rolls for its long-awaited reopening. The pair chat enthusiastically about the cafe's makeover, with Chesney hoping Roy might have chosen something more colorful to brighten the atmosphere. However, once they step inside, both are left struggling to hide their disappointment as the cafe appears almost identical to how it looked before the fire. As they desperately try to compliment the redesign, Roy proudly highlights the addition of energy-saving lights and upgraded wall insulation. Fizz jokingly remarks that after all the hard work, she expected at least a noticeable difference, though she admits Roy seems satisfied with the result. Nina Lucas then reveals that the back wall has actually been painted 3 shades darker than before, explaining that she repeatedly encouraged her uncle to make at least one visible alteration. Sharp-eyed viewers may also notice another major difference. The specials board now lists pie, chips, and mushy peas at £6.95 compared to the previous price of £5.50 before the fire damaged the cafe. This is far from the first time Roy's rising prices have attracted attention. Back in 2023, fans were stunned when the cost of the same meal jumped dramatically from £2.60 to £5.50 within only a few months. After viewers tagged money expert Martin Lewis in the online debate at the time, he joined the conversation and jokingly criticized the ITV character over the steep increase. Judging by tonight's episode, however, Roy seems completely unfazed by complaints about his ever-growing prices. The Driscoll family has faced nonstop chaos in Coronation Street over recent months, but one major storyline has finally reached a conclusion in the latest ITVX episode. Although plenty of drama still surrounds the family, they can at least feel some relief regarding a serious health concern. Ever since Eva Price returned to Weatherfield alongside her partner Ben last October, the family has been thrown into one crisis after another. From the heartbreaking storyline involving Will to the many secrets Maggie has desperately tried to hide, tension within the household has continued to build. One particularly emotional revelation saw Ben discover that Steve McDonald was actually his half-brother due to Maggie's past affair with Jim. While the news initially stunned him, Ben and Steve quickly formed a strong bond and have grown close ever since. However, further worries emerged after Jim's diagnosis with myotonic dystrophy back in 2016. The inherited condition gradually causes muscle weakness and deterioration over time, leaving the family terrified it could affect future generations as well. Concerned about the possibility of passing on the illness, Ben arranged genetic testing for himself and his sons, Ollie and Will. In today's episode of the ITV soap, the results of those tests are finally revealed. As Eva and Ollie prepare for a family gathering, Eva happily explains they are celebrating the men of the family receiving the all clear. She also admits the family has had very little positive news to enjoy recently. Although both Ben and Ollie express relief after learning the results, attention quickly shifts elsewhere as Eva points out there are bigger issues to deal with following Megan Walsh's release from prison earlier that day. Before the family can fully focus on Megan's return, tensions explode during dinner when Ben directs his anger toward Maggie. Still furious after recently learning about her involvement in his father's death, Ben shocks everyone by revealing the truth to the rest of the family during the meal. As emotions spiral out of control, Maggie eventually decides to walk away from the confrontation while Ben leaves to calm down with a drink. Later, Eva encourages him to show compassion toward his mother despite everything that has happened between them, though it remains uncertain whether Ben will ever truly forgive Maggie. Todd's horrifying ordeal in Coronation Street took another devastating turn as he was left stunned by explosive accusations surrounding Theo's death. For months, Todd suffered through a relentless cycle of emotional manipulation and violence at Theo's hands. Whenever Todd attempted to walk away from the toxic relationship, Theo would break down in tears, make excuses for his behavior, and lure him back with empty promises, only for the abuse to begin all over again. After enduring a savage attack, Todd finally realized the situation could no longer continue and decided to report Theo to the police. However, Theo refused to accept the breakup and continued tormenting him. Their bitter feud eventually led to a dramatic confrontation on the cobbles, where Theo was later found dead after being attacked by an unknown assailant. Now Todd finds himself caught up in the murder investigation, alongside several people close to him, including George Shuttleworth, Christina Boyd, Summer Spellman, and local troublemaker Gary Windus. One person firmly against Todd, however, is Theo's former wife Danielle Silverton. Danielle's first appearance in Weatherfield was far from pleasant after Theo revealed he was gay and ended their marriage in order to pursue a relationship with Todd. Having built a life together and raised 2 children, Miles and Millie, Danielle had every reason to feel betrayed and humiliated. Her anger later pushed her into seducing Todd's brother Jason Grimshaw as a way of getting revenge on both Todd and Theo, though the situation quickly spiraled into further bitterness. Danielle later returned to Weatherfield after Todd's close friend Sarah Platt became concerned that he may have been suffering domestic abuse. Hoping to learn more about Theo's behavior, Sarah carefully asked Danielle whether Theo had ever shown signs of violence during their marriage. The revelation raises even more questions about what truly happened that night. Was Danielle telling the truth about Todd's motives, or is she desperately trying to shift suspicion away from herself?